The Three Spinners Story for Children. Once upon a time, there was a poor girl who lived with her mother. One day, she was summoned by the queen to the castle. "I need you to spin 3 bags of flax into gold by tomorrow morning," said the queen. "If you succeed, I will reward you handsomely." The girl was terrified because she knew she could not spin flax into gold. When she returned home, she sat down at her spinning wheel, but no matter how hard she tried, she could not do it. As she sat there feeling hopeless, 3 strange women appeared before her. Each had a unique appearance. One had a broad foot, another had a large underlip, and a third had a broad thumb. "Do not worry," said the first spinner. "We can help you." "But why would you help me?" asked the girl. "Because we see your kind heart," replied the second spinner. "We will spin the flax for you if you promise to help us in return." The girl agreed without hesitation. The 3 spinners set to work immediately. Their hands moved swiftly as they spun the flax into beautiful golden threads, their laughter ringing through the room like music. By morning, they had completed all 3 bags of flax. The girl was overjoyed and rushed back to the queen's castle with the golden threads clutched tightly in her hands. When she arrived at the palace, the queen was amazed by the beautiful gold. "You have done well," she exclaimed. "I shall reward you handsomely." The queen kept her promise and gave the girl riches beyond her dreams: gold coins, fine clothes, and jewels sparkling like stars. However, she remembered her promise to the spinners and returned to find them. "Thank you for your help," she said gratefully when she found them in their hidden glade. "How can I repay you?" "We ask for nothing but your kindness," said the first spinner with a warm smile. "Continue to be as kind as you are now." From that day on, whenever the girl faced challenges or needed help, she would remember the 3 spinners and their generosity. She grew up to be a wise woman known throughout the village for her wealth and willingness to lend a hand to those in need. Years later, when she married the king's son, she invited the 3 spinners to her wedding as her aunts. During the celebration, they revealed their true identities and explained how they acquired their unusual features from spinning. And so, through her generosity and hard work, she created a legacy of kindness that lasted for generations. The Old Woman in the Wood Story for Children. Once upon a time, there was a poor servant girl who was traveling with the family she worked for through a great forest. Suddenly, robbers emerged from the thicket and attacked them. The girl was terrified and jumped out of the carriage, hiding behind a tree while the robbers took everything from her companions. When it was safe again, she came out from her hiding place and saw that all her companions had perished. Overcome with sorrow, she cried out, "What can a poor girl like me do now? I do not know how to escape this dark forest, no human lives here, so I must certainly starve." Desperate and alone, she wandered through the woods searching for a way out but found none. As evening fell, she sat down under a tree and prayed for help, deciding to stay there until dawn. After some time, a little white dove flew down to her with a tiny golden key in its beak. It dropped the key into her hand and said, "Do you see that large tree over there? There is a small lock on it. Use this key to open it, and you will find food enough to satisfy your hunger." Grateful for this guidance, she hurried to the tree and unlocked it. Inside, she found milk in a little bowl and fresh bread to eat. After satisfying her hunger, she felt tired and wished for a place to rest. Once again, the dove returned with another golden key. "Open the tree," it instructed, "and you will find a bed." She followed its advice and discovered a beautiful bed inside where she could sleep peacefully. The next morning, the dove came once more with yet another key. "Open the tree," it said again, "and you will find clothes." When she opened it this time, she found splendid garments adorned with gold and jewels. Feeling grateful for all she had received from the dove's guidance, she decided to return home. As she walked back through the forest wearing her new clothes, she encountered an old woman sitting by a fire inside a small house. "Good day," greeted the old woman warmly. "What brings you here?" "I have been lost in this forest," replied the girl. "But thanks to my little dove friend, I have found food, shelter, and clothing." The old woman smiled knowingly. "You have been blessed by kindness because you showed kindness yourself." Suddenly, as if by magic, the old woman transformed into a beautiful fairy. "I am here to reward your bravery and compassion," she said. You have proven yourself worthy. With that, she waved her hand over the girl's head and granted her wishes, riches beyond measure and happiness for all her days. The Lion and the Boar story for children. Once upon a time, in a vast forest, there lived a mighty lion who ruled over all the animals. He was strong and feared by many, but his pride often got the better of him. One day, while prowling through his territory, he came across a boar rooting around in the underbrush. "Move aside, you foolish creature!" roared the lion. "You are in my way." The boar looked up defiantly. "I will not move. I have as much right to be here as you do," he replied stubbornly. The boar's refusal to back down hurt the lion's pride. "How dare you speak to me like that? I am the king of this forest," he growled. "I do not care who you are," said the boar boldly. "You may be strong, but I am not afraid of you." Their argument grew louder, attracting the attention of other animals nearby. They gathered to watch as the lion and the boar continued to bicker. "Let us settle this once and for all," suggested the lion. "We shall fight to see who is superior." The boar agreed, eager to prove his strength. So they prepared for battle, each determined to win. However, just as they were about to clash, they heard a rustling in the bushes nearby. Suddenly, a pack of hungry wolves emerged, drawn by the commotion. Seeing the wolves approaching, the lion and the boar realized they had forgotten their surroundings in their prideful rivalry. "We must work together," said the lion quickly. "Yes," agreed the boar. "If we fight 'em together, we stand a chance." So, they set aside their differences and joined forces against the wolves. With their combined strength, they fought bravely side by side until they drove the wolves away. Afterwards, panting but victorious, they looked at each other with newfound respect. "Perhaps we should not have let our pride get in the way," said the lion. "And perhaps we should remember that working together is far better than fighting," replied the boar. From that day on, they became friends, learning that cooperation could lead to greater strength than rivalry ever could. The Frog and the Ox story for children. Once upon a time, in a lush green meadow, there lived a great ox. He was strong and powerful, admired by all the animals in the field. One day, while grazing peacefully, he noticed a group of frogs hopping nearby. Among them was a particularly proud frog who looked at the ox with envy. "I wish I could be as big as that ox," he croaked loudly. "I want everyone to admire me too." The other frogs listened to him with wide eyes. "But you're just a frog," one of them said gently. "You are perfect just as you are." "I can be bigger," insisted the proud frog. "Watch me." Determined to prove his point, the frog took a deep breath and began to inflate himself. He puffed out his body, trying desperately to grow larger. "Look at me, I'm getting bigger," he shouted. The ox watched curiously as the frog continued to blow himself up. "You should be careful," he advised. "It's not wise to try to be something you're not." But the proud frog ignored his warning. "I can do it, I can be as big as you," he boasted, puffing himself up even more. The other frogs gathered around, watching in awe and concern. "Stop, you'll hurt yourself," they cried out, but it was too late. With one final puff, the proud frog burst with a loud pop. The other frogs gasped in shock as their friend fell back into the grass. The ox shook his head sadly. "You see," he said gently, "there is no need to change who you are. Be proud of your own size and abilities." From that day on, the remaining frogs learned an important lesson about self-acceptance. They realized it was better to appreciate their strengths rather than envy others.